this week's episode of the SLB Show. Better late than never, and what a delay we've had, because we've had statements. It's been a week of, we've had nothing for a couple of weeks from obviously FIBA. We've had nothing from BBF. We've had nothing from GBBL. We've really had nothing from the SLB either since the whole basketball world came to an end around British basketball. Louis, here as usual. Matt's back from his foreign adventures, and he doesn't have a tan at all. I thought he'd be sounding a bit more Pascali since he's back from Pascali land. But no, Matt, holiday all good, buddy?
Si, ciao, come vai? No, it's lovely, thank you. But lovely to be back too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, let's just fire into it. It is late, we've been yabbering on, and let's get into it. Matt, you've done the old adage of trying to work out what all these statements mean. If you want to read them all, they're all on City AM, aren't they? Yeah, go for it, Matt.
Yeah, so City AM seems to be the absolute, the people that are really the documenters, the historians of what is now known as the British Basketball Civil War. So first, I think Monday, in Matt Hughes's article, he revealed that a letter from GBBL chief exec Marshall Glickman had been seen by City AM. We've not seen them in sort of total, so we're kind of going off secondhand evidence. But it was kind of pitched as a peace offering, a kind of, hey guys, let's stop this fighting. And in it, Glickman tells the BBF and SLB that the GBBL has no objection to the current clubs continuing to run Super League basketball, which, is so nice of them. It's really kind of them to not object to us existing, which is really cool. So that's nice. And they even promised to not block overseas sign-ins for GBBL teams, which, is really good of them. I don't know how much power they have to do that. I think it's none, but it's nice that they'll decide not to do it, which is really cool. But they said, we're ready to participate in discussions with all stakeholders. It was really pragmatic and conciliatory. And what I thought was quite interesting is they sent this letter not just to SLB, but they also sent it to UK Sport and Lisa Nandy, the culture secretary. So it's a bit like, when someone's being arsey at work and they send you an email, but they also CC in your manager. it's given that kind of energy, which is mad. But hold that thought, because there's a reaction to the letter, because we love a statement on a statement in British basketball. And then Frank Delares, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but I'm sure I'm not, released yesterday, I believe, SLB's response, which was basically total flip side. So SLB's interim chair, Sanjay Bandari, kind of came back. That was basically, nice try, but absolutely not. We're not accepting that olive branch, because we've told you enough times already, the only way we're going to not continue litigation is if you scrap this mad 15-year license, which they didn't address in this kind of lovely letter. I thought it was cool because he kind of came up and said, hasn't alluded, but he's gone full on, that license is illegal, and we're not basically going to let up on what we're kind of doing unless you stop with this 15-year license. We've already pumped in 20 million in the last 18 months to British basketball, and why should we listen to the BBF? Because they've already been proven by FIBA not to be trusted to govern men's professional basketball. So yeah, it's a madness. So GBBL are trying to basically show UK Sport and the government that they're the big boys in the room that are trying to make everything happen. But yeah, it's SLB aren't having any of it, because it's well, we've told you how we will work with you, and it's by scrapping this bullshit license, and they've not done that. So here we are.
I wonder, was the interaction in BBF and SLB probably happened way before the GBBL stuff. The GBBL stuff probably came out because Marshall's got wind of this. He's gone to speak to his guy because Holland, he was the one that wrote on The Guardian who was quite pro BBF, wasn't he? So he's been like their talking head.
Okay.
And then the SLB have obviously seen that and thought, right, Frank, there you go. Here's what we've been in dialogue with, and here's the kind of God's honest truth. Or God's honest truth, if we take for the words. I find it fascinating that we're still at this kind of back and forth. I really thought we would have heard more from FIBA. I really thought we'd have had at least an update, because that must be, 4 weeks at least since FIBA banned the men's side from competing in Europe or European competition, which is madness. So obviously something's happening. It does seem from the wording of the SLB's retort that they kind of feel the BBF is just the same old BBF with the interim chair and the new chair. So there's not really been major changes. Another kind of tuppence, I said that to quite posh, thrown in here on GBBL or Glickman. Is this also Glickman trying to save face? Because actually his wee GBBL empire's maybe kind of falling down at the seams in terms of trying to stay involved in the conversation. So trying to plead to the wider market, trying to plead to government. Is the GBBL even someone will tell us, as a business, even registered in the UK yet? I can't remember if that actually happened. I think it maybe did.
See, I don't know about all that kind of the techie company's house stuff. There are people that are way better versed on that than me. But what I think is GBBL have already moved the goalposts back.
A couple of times.
So a couple of times. So it was 26, then it's 2027. That was pre the BBF shutdown. So I think this is like, please stop pursuing this legal action so we can actually put a date in so we can start. Because now it will get pushed back to 2028 at least. I'm very, very confident of that. So I think what came out of this was GBBL basically pleading to SLB to please stop this. Don't take it to court, because then we definitely, GB won't be able to play Lithuania in, World Cup qualifiers or whatever it may be, in November this month. So that's definitely not happening. So that's obviously another knock-on by FIBA, that's obviously rankling with FIBA, because FIBA want their competitions to run smoothly and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a big plea to get them to stop pursuing this legal action, which, if you were confident that you would win some legal action in court, you wouldn't be like, please don't take us to court. So it's obviously they're on the back foot. But yeah, and it's also, I think GBBL kind of saying to the government, who they CC'd into this, and Basketball England and all the people, because look, like anything, you got to follow the money, right? They want investment from central government. They want investment from the other kind of UK sports stuff. What is it? 4.75 million was kind of pledged in this cycle.
It was not less than that. That was the add-on figure
that was added to.
Plus 3x3.
They basically counted the money twice, didn't
they? So there is millions of pounds at stake, and I think the UK government are probably well within their rights to go, hang on a minute, we were set to give however many million to a governing body whose bosses, or the kind of world governing body, say can't organise a piss up in a brewery. So let's not give them all that money until all this is settled. So I think it's GBBL going, hey, can you settle this? So BBF then get let off the leash by FIBA, and then we can release this money, and then we can continue making whatever the hell plans they go. But they still got their fans, they still got their teams, they still got no infrastructure, they still got no commercial partners, they still got no broadcast partners, they still got nothing. They're nothing. They are an idea. They are an investment proposal.
Comes back from a sabbatical.
They are a PowerPoint. They are a PowerPoint presentation. They are a theory. They are they live in the wind. They are nothing. They don't exist. Whereas we're casually having a very entertaining season of basketball without interruption. And yeah, this is just kind of just noise that's happening in the
I
background.
did find it really interesting, the wording of the SLB's quotes today. Like when you look at what the kind of interim chair is saying about, it's the real first time that we've heard him say this is illegal, because he always kind of came in, and I thought the way he came in was a bit more, let's fix this to make this work. Whereas I'd say that was the first time that you would go, actually, he's he's all in on fixing British basketball, but obviously looking out for what the SLB wants. Like, that was really interesting for me. It was a different
GBBL
language.
got his name wrong.
I wonder if that was just an error in the article, though.
It's given big Cuomo energy where you're not giving, you like, get his name right, for Christ's sake.
Right, Louis, what have you got to say on it?
Panpari.
So I think that kind of shows that that stance by the new chairman kind of shows they've been discussing behind the scenes for, how long has the task force been here? So they've probably been discussing behind the scenes for at least a month.
Yeah.
Probably trying to find a stance that kind of works, trying to get BBF to kind of back down because of the position they're in, and it's absolutely clear to see BBF aren't backing down.
Have they not also, by the way, the wording, sorry to interrupt, basically the SLB replied being like, you've actually just offered us worse terms than what we talked about in May. So what are you doing? Anyway, sorry, continually.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not helping anyone. So that kind of shows the level of kind of annoyance, really, that they're just not being pliable. They're not backing down from and being workable to what the SLB needs, what British basketball needs in the fact that, we don't have a men's national team currently, and they are still not working to fix that, which is entirely against the entire remit, in putting together a national program. And also to the point about the funding, there have been suggestions that like a part of the pot has been withdrawn until they can kind of figure out how to get the program back running. But just what are they doing? What are the BBF doing? They should be working however they can to get the men's national team back on the court.
Because the World Cup does prove another opportunity. And there's so many of the next generation. Like, it's interesting seeing the women's roster announced today for their qualifying games. Obviously, you see a lot of the players that have maybe been around the SLB in the last couple of SWW have moved away for their basketball in the women's game, and that's maybe another sub issue with BBF as well, but also maybe SLBW, I suppose. But I genuinely expected to hear positive news from BBF in regards to the FIBA stuff, to hear like what changes they're making. This is what we're doing, like working with our partners at Basketball England, Basketball Scotland, SLB, along with FIBA. Like, the fact we're not hearing anything yet makes me think that they're all just still pissing in the wind on every side.
It feels like they're just stubbornly. It still feels like the same regime that are doing the same things that they were doing a couple months ago, before their entire program was just shut down by FIBA. Before FIBA just said you're a joke. Before they sent a bloody task force in. They're still they're still rolling the same tape. They're still playing the same album over and over again. It's the same. I don't get it. Like, you would
have expected the language to have changed, and it's not. Even they might even have the same ideas of what they've been of previous, but you would have expected the language or the attitude or relation, like even on how it's released to the media. And their last statement they put out, Matt, wasn't it? They just put it on the website and kind of left it there. Didn't really tell anyone it was there. And as a marketer, you're like, what are you doing? Probably. And yeah, you just hoped that change would potentially signal, actually, you know what, let's have a change of attitude. And that might be happening. Like, obviously, we're hearing GBBL side. We've heard obviously the SLB chair, and he's obviously an independent. As guy, it's not as if we're hearing from clubs directly. We're not hearing from Sheffield. We're not hearing from Manchester. We're not hearing from Lens at London. It's the chairman saying what you're doing isn't anything right now. So I really hope as we approach the end of the year to actually hear some movement, because FIBA could just get pissed off and say, actually, you know what? You've got the Commie Games next year in Glasgow. You know what? Scotland, England, Wales, you're not playing in that either. And imagine how sucky that would be.
That would be horrible. I think the thing that kind of got me was so GBBL have sent in a letter saying, let's work together to get through this, which seems very grown up, seems very responsible, respectable. But SLB's response is, we've already told you the terms in which we will reconsider any legal action. And this waffle you've sent in the form of a letter doesn't address any of that whatsoever. So see you later. I think that's basically what the whole thing boils down to. So I don't think, like, to a casual observer, it might seem that, you know, like Glickman and GBBL have tried to extend this olive branch, and SLB are being like, "Oh no, I don't want to work with you." But it's like, well, no. Like we've still said that our, like, SLB's position hasn't changed. It's this 15-year license thing is mad. And if you want us to, we'll take it to court to show you how mad it is. And then GBBL and BBF are just shitting themselves, because if it goes to court, then they're going to be proven
What
wrong.
if?
In my opinion, allegedly.
What
blah, blah, blah.
if? Just pie in the sky. What if Glickman going public on this is because he knows, and this is just a pure pie in the sky, probably rainbows, unicorns, that kind of thing. What if Glickman knows that his backers are already away, and this is him trying to save face, pass blame, and that these investors could be looking at, you know what, let's buy an SLB team because that's a league that's going. Do you know what I mean? Like, could that be a thing? Like, we've got Liverpool apparently coming into the league. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, if you look at the, like, how it's obviously quite a how it seems to be quite a conciliatory statement towards the SLB teams and trying to extend that olive branch. He needs the SLB teams to function.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about this. He needs the SLB teams in the league. He obviously knows the gig is up. Like, it's not great. It's not looking great if you're the GBBL, is it? You know, so he needs that kind of more amicable stance toward the clubs in order to, I don't know, try in any sense of the word to kind of try and claw something back in terms of, you know, his relationship with them. But it's just waffle, man. It's just waffle.
I think, yeah, I mean, what, GBBL's a myth, and I think that's what I want.
Still love that you're saying that.
It's
That
an
is what
idea.
I want this episode
It's a
title to be.
thought.
They're a myth. They don't. They're an idea somewhere. But I think the only card that the GBBL has is this license. SLB has proven it don't need no license. It can just continue to operate in spite of what you think. And B, the license that you think you have is at best on shaky ground, is at best dubious, is at best contested, is at best sort of arguable, and at worst illegally got and isn't worth the paper that it's written on. So it's like, I think this is it feels like a last roll of the dice, and please don't take this to court, because then everyone has to read the emails and then it's just, the court will go, what are you doing? Of course, like, yeah. So, yeah, I think, but I think the timing's an interesting one, because I don't think they do anything out of the goodness of their heart. They don't do anything by accident, right? Because This, like, talking to a PR company costs money. Talking to lawyers costs money. Why are they doing it? Why are they doing it now? Follow the money. Maybe that money from central government and from investors is going to dry up if this doesn't happen. I'm sure whoever was going to invest in a basketball league in the UK is probably maybe got different plans for their millions of dollars and whatever they were going to spend, even though it's less money than the SLB clubs have already spent in the last 18 months to pump into an entire new league. But whatever.
Matt Hardy.
So yeah, I
unfiltered.
think it's the money's running out. They're flapping. SLB hold all the cards. This is, SLB are on Uno and they're holding like a multicolor +4 pick up 4 thing.
How good a game's Uno?
And yeah, so GBBL just they're trying
Curveball.
stuff.
They're
and,
flapping.
yeah,
They're flapping.
GBBL have obviously potentially the ins. I don't think they do with NBA Europe. They've actually got 2 +4s in their hand. Is that part of the
Yeah,
discussion?
he doesn't need any of the SLB teams. He's actually already got a new London team, a Manchester team. We just don't know it yet. That's
they
it,
need a
man.
domestic league.
They do need a domestic league with teams yet.
But they need a domestic league for those clubs to play in too. So I think,
they've got
even
Doncaster,
Euro
they've got
League,
Coventry.
yeah,
They've got it down pat.
Bradford/Leeds,
Bradford/Leeds. Cardiff.
Bradford/Leeds, Rhinos, or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I think it's just a word. I would love to know what GBBL really think of just coming in. Yeah, we'll take over.
But
British
why does it
basketball. And then-
always have to be British basketball? Can let's really push American investors to bloody British ice hockey or something. No offense to British ice hockey, because it's really popular and people love it. But do you know what I mean? Why is it always British basketball that they try and take advantage of?
Governance.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's like a failed state grant. It's like investing in, I don't know, think of some failed country.
Well, send them to British baseball, right?
Yeah. That's the answer.
Well, it's because we're a sleeping giant, but it's
Probably.
because everyone wears Chicago
It's
Bulls
the
hats.
hats. It's the merch.
It's because we buy all. It's because
Mariners, people wear Mariners hats. They can go into baseball.
Yankees hats.
Yankees
How
hats.
many
I mean,
They're valuable.
you could have NFL. They could get
Well, then
into
pretty
British American football.
Could. I mean, British
Big
badminton.
up. London Elite.
British badminton.
British
They
badminton.
could really professionalise British badminton, couldn't they? All those courts that sit
Untapped
empty.
market.
You know what? Let's make British
Untapped
badminton
market.
big again.
Why?
But yeah,
Why?
it's just a mad one, man. So what do you think happens next? Like, so flipping the question back on you guys. What happens next?
Right,
like,
go on.
so GBBL have said something. SLB have said nah. Like, do we know if and when it's going to go to court? Like, what do you think the next step is?
Next step is whatever FIBA says. Like, genuinely, I think, and it's one of the reasons I'm curious. Let's look at British basketball referees right now. We're still not got the FIBA ref stuff sorted. Why? Like, is this all part of this greater matrix of issues that someone somewhere's sorting out? Like, surely FIBA must be saying, all right, guys, no public statements, no cutting each other's grass, no bitching behind the posts, no meeting at the water cooler talking nonsense about each other. Let's just sort it round this table and let's get shit sorted. Let's get British basketball back in a direction of some sort. Like, you wonder what the governance boards or what's the meetings that happen at Basketball Scotland, Basketball Wales, Basketball England, Basketball Ireland over the war must be laughing. Must be laughing. It's boring, Louis.
Yep.
Yeah.
But genuinely, you just think, you know what happens next? Probably nothing. We're going to limp through this whole season will be limped through. I don't think we'll hear anything till after now Christmas.
When do you think the men's senior GB team play a match
Ooh.
next?
So you've got the window now. The next window, I think, is February.
I don't think. I don't think it's gonna happen.
So it could be,
And then after February,
and
you
then
get
obviously
there's
summer.
no competitions.
there'll be
'cause they
there'll
haven't
be something
qualified
in the
or
summer,
entered
but I
in.
don't know what it is. And you
Then it's November again, right?
that's a sorry state,
So it
isn't it?
could be a calendar year before any senior men's team puts on the jersey for GB, all because the BBF have been ruled to be not fit to put a team out.
It's fascinating. Louis, what do you think? Like, what's next?
Oh, what's next? I don't know. I don't know. That's the answer. But it's like they haven't shown any inclination towards, trying to work toward an amicable solution. Like I said previously, it doesn't seem like they're there at all with the current people in place at the moment in time. It doesn't seem like they're in any sort of state to kind of work out anything proper. It just feels like unless there's change in terms of personnel, we're just gonna keep running the same tape.
Yeah, it's the message.
It's
like
not change.
you've got to change. BBF have to change public opinion of them, and there doesn't seem like there's an appetite to do that. Like this all goes back to the car crash interview on Hoops Fix with Chris.
Everything that's happened since Chris Grant stepped down is everyone has just gone, thanks, Chris. You really set some wheels in motion, and you did great stuff, and thank you so much. Amazing. No one's come out and gone, so
why?
there's some shit that's going on.
That makes me think, why?
We need to sort it out.
Because it's British
I don't
basketball.
know.
Everyone loves to talk shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but even it's just like, it's just mad. So there's just been no sort of acknowledgement of the mess that we're in by the BBF.
but that's what I mean. There's been zero attempt from the governing body to change public opinion. And when there has, it's backfired. Like it genuinely has. So don't then give your other stakeholders this whole matter a chance to air your dirty laundry. So, hey ho. All right, let's move on to funner, well, maybe not funner topics. This show will be shorter than normal because it's Thursday and it's now 10 o'clock almost. But Evan Walsh has put himself in the shop window, which is always a fun topic. Obviously, he's had an amazing summer playing 3x3, really successful, won a couple of things, really couple of great highlight plays you've seen from him as well. He's obviously a player who in the last couple of seasons has really excelled when he's played in the SLB. However, Louis brought up something so fascinating on social media. I really loved reading that thread, Louis. I think I shared it. If I've not, I'm going to share it shortly.
No, you haven't.
I'll get on that.
Retweet it.
I'll share that. I've read it twice because I'm actually fascinated by it. Evan has that Irish passport, which totally changes his availability for teams across Europe. And obviously, you instantly think someone like Evan, where would he fit in the SLB? And we've had conversations in group chats. We've kind of had it in our WhatsApps as well. And you're like, he would probably fit in quite a few different places. But what do you think, Louis?
Yeah, so like in terms of the Bosman passport, that obviously opens up a lot of European places because they have different import rules where they have import plus Bosman. So people with Bosman passport are very valuable. In terms of Evan Walsh, where he fits, like obviously there's a multitude of places. We know that he is practically enough like an import level player. He's a player you can play for good minutes. You're going to get good production out of him. In terms of transition play, he's a game changer for teams. He generates a lot of points in transition. Self-generated, you put him in, he will create, in transition a lot. He can handle the ball as kind of like a tall ball handler. He's listed at 6'4", 200 pounds. So, if you're thinking about a team like Newcastle, for instance, which is one of the teams I mentioned in the tweet thread, he's quite switchable, versatile defensively. He's quite quick. He's quite strong because, we talk about the 200-pound listing. So a team like Newcastle can play him. He kind of fits in that team. You know, they don't have kind of like, because at their two spot, they have Dion Hammond, who can handle the ball quite a bit, but he's not kind of like, he's not like a secondary playmaker like Evan is. So that gives kind of like a different dynamic at the two spot. In terms of teams like Cheshire, we know that Cheshire is a transition heavy side, and they've also kind of defensively leaned a little bit larger this season with two guards like Tobias Cameron and Brenchley were both 6'5".
Yeah.
So in terms of defensive identity, that kind of fits too. Teams like Caledonia, like I thought that was kind of like an interesting angle because they do have, because you know we talk about Evan being a big transition threat. Caledonia kind of do have a lot of interesting transition pieces, which could mean like he could work really well there because you have guys like Toto as a rim runner in transition. You have guys like Ethan Wright, who's very dangerous in transition. You know, so it could be really interesting there. And also in terms of their ball handling, you know, they've had to play like Ethan Wright some minutes at the one, and you know he's had a really high turnover percentage this season, so he's not really worked so well as like a secondary ball handler, kind of like primary in some lineups. So that gives another proper ball handler to them. And then obviously different places like Surrey is also a good shout. But I like he's obviously a very good player, so it'd be interesting to see like where he goes, you know. And I feel like he could do a job at any good level in Europe, any solid level, like below the top leagues. You know, I think he's that kind of player. So, you know, he should have a lot of suitors. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's wicked. I would have him back in. Obviously, the last SLB club he played for was Bristol, and I would have him back at Bristol in an absolute heartbeat. He's great on court. He's great off court. Great around the team. So, like, yeah, would absolutely love to have him back. What is he? 27, 26. So, like, maybe he's looking for something a little bit of a step up. But yeah, I would love for him to find a place that's gonna like challenge him and like higher levels and all this kind of stuff. But like selfishly, yeah, I would take him back at Bristol. Like Bristol is a team that he likes. You know, he had a good time while he was here. Everyone does, but you know, currently sat second in the league. Is that something to bolster and really kind of go after the league? That'd be really cool too. So yeah, I would absolutely take him back in a heartbeat. But yeah, it's almost he's good enough to almost pick where he goes. I think especially in the UK. So yeah, I guess it's whoever wins.
I'm
that
really
battle,
curious
whoever makes the best
to
case.
see how his 3x3 game transfers to 5v5. Like, I'm just curious to see if he's made changes, because obviously the style of play is different. Like, obviously you get away with a little bit more contact, because I think Evan's a brilliant defender. Like, I really like his defensive game, and obviously 3x3, he is quite an aggressive defender, so 3x3 works in his favour. So then I'm just curious to see how he then would adapt back, and it is fascinating. I think it's quite cool that we're talking about a British player and how we could actually see him kind of be almost able to fit into most teams. Like, I think that's quite a cool thing, because like we've seen fans say, "Oh, he'd be great back in Manchester, Bristol, back there, Surrey, Gladiators fans." That depends. Some of them, Newcastle, I think, could be a decent fit as well if Josh Ward-Hibbert's out for a while. So yeah, I mean, the world is young Evan's oyster, and if he goes to Europe, even cooler to see what exposure he gets there.
Yeah, and also he's basically an SLB kind of developed guy. Because I mean, we saw how he kind of developed at Leicester, you know. So that's kind of cool to see. But I think there's not really like an obvious place for him.
Agree.
There, because in terms of like rotation, because we know, like, we've been eulogizing about him like the past like 10 minutes or so, like saying he's basically like an import level player, but there's not really the commensurate like level of minutes that he can get anywhere. So it's kind of like, so it's a little bit awkward, but I mean, we'll see what happens. So yeah.
All right, I mean, it's time you guys, anyone listens to this, it's Thursday, so we'll only briefly mention a couple of things from last weekend. 3 DQs in Sheffield last week against Bristol as Sheffield, who was it? Cam Holden and Chapman got tied up. Mervyn James, Ryan West, and Nick Kern Jr. all got chucked out the game for leaving the bench. That's not very clever, is it? That's one thing the question has to be. Obviously, West and Mervyn James haven't played a game this season due to injuries. Obviously, they got automatically DQ'd, so that's like a game ban almost, or points, or however many points it adds up to. Like, imagine, is this where we'd all like to see the disciplinary process sped up? Because it always takes weeks, doesn't it?
No, I don't want it to happen at all.
But then see, for someone like a Mervyn James who hasn't played, like, does it the first game he's registered fit to play? Like, who then decides that? Could they say, yeah, he's going to miss Friday's game against Gladiators because he's back fit, but he's not playing? But actually, he's still two. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's still 2 games away. Like, how do you decide? Do you have to wait till he's played a game and then he has to miss a game? Like, how messy is that?
It's tricky.
Maybe we do need our governance fixed.
Shocker. I think so I didn't see the beef that happened, but this is obviously the first game I think Bristol played Sheffield since the first game of the season where Sheffield got absolutely had their pants pulled down, didn't they? Is that the first meeting back? So that's so they got absolutely beaten convincingly. So yeah, I'm not surprised that there was a little bit of extra spice at the end of this one. But I did shout out at the buzzer who sent me a DM with just the shush emoji and
Good
no
on
further
him.
context.
Well done, Tom.
But I was like, that is absolutely
Tom
mint,
keeps receipts.
So fair play. He does. He's got a long memory, that man.
He's got a
which is good.
dossier.
But
Every
yeah,
team's
big
got
love
that at you this season, Matt.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Talking about
rent free, baby.
Rent
free up here.
Keeping receipts. Gladiators registered their second win of the season. I've been convincingly beaten an underperforming Manchester in that game, considering how comfortably they beat a non-firing Sheffield on Friday. I don't think anyone saw Gladiators winning it against Manchester, but it was Kevin Allen. Kevin, if you're listening to this, we all liked your comment last week, so thank you for doing it. But it was good to see a more all-rounded performance. It was just night and day better than the Lions game the week before. And it allowed guys like Ragsdale to have an absolute night. Ragsdale, possibly the best shooter in the SLB. Louis, any argument with that one?
Nope.
That's unusual for Louis not to want to just have like a random name back at me. So I'm curious to see if this retuned Kevin Allen, this team-focused Kevin Allen, turns up against Sheffield. Because remember, he did play really well against Sheffield pre-season and the last time out. Louis, what are you going to say?
Look, man, that's what we're here for. We're that inspirational tool. That's we're just trying to rinse it out of you, Kev. Trying to get it out of you, Kev, bro. The biggest thing, the biggest thing was the scoreline. Like, defensively, they had a good game.
Yeah.
That's all we want from you, Kev. That's all we want. So, got to tip my hat.
Yeah, well done, Kev.
Got to tip my hat, but got to continue it, man.
Got to keep it up.
If Glads have a losing record by the end of the season and you're averaging 30, don't matter. Just keep it up. Keep getting that.
Got to be for.
I just think it's
Got to be
mad
for the
that
full season.
before I went on holiday, Leicester Riders were 0-5 and then like bottom of the league, and the Gladiators are still bottom now. And like it's been 2 minutes, but
I mean,
it's-
Leicester are up
yeah,
to
so-
6th, undefeated in the last. No,
Yeah,
they went on a
mad.
3-game winning streak and only lost to London. Leicester are going to be
Did.
I
second in
said Donald Carey.
Leicester are going to be second in about 3 weeks' time.
They love it.
And then first.
Oh, let's get on that question
Nah,
now.
Bristol winning it all.
Let's. That is the question. I don't want to talk about is
Okay.
London going to go undefeated. I don't want to say what we talked about back in the 7-7 days. But when you look at the league behind London, Bristol 3 defeats, Knicks, Sheffield on 4, Manchester 3-3, Leicester 5 defeats, Surrey 2-3. How they only played 5 games. Newcastle 5 defeats, 2-5. Gladiators now 2-6. Like, it's a really close league. Like, it is. And London, other than blowing out the
Apart
Glads,
from
but it's not, because what did they only beat Leicester by 12 points? Other than that Gladiators games, they've not blown anyone out the water. Like, there's beginning to be a wee bit of noise about this London team. Yeah, they're 7-0. Is the league done? Is the league done?
Yeah, because they've only played 7 games as well.
But there's another, what?
Like Cheshire have played 9.
There's 25 games
Everyone
still
else
to
has played-
go for London.
Well, technically no, but
But a metaphor.
we've watched this film before.
25 games, they've got to travel. This is where I'm curious to see if the change in format this year, like, there's no real trophy of the competition this year. Like, it's really not. It's like a team lumps in, knocks out. It's a knockout competition, not like the group game. Well, it's group games, but not really the same as what it has been. Like, is there a situation where we look at this now and think if we had a trophy campaign where there was more games, London would have to rotate more? Like, they would. So the schedule's been set up for the benefit of our teams in Europe, which is, who's that? Oh, good. No one's taking responsibility for that. That's fine. Someone's trying to hack. It's Kevin Allen hacking our stream. I just don't know. I just don't think we can say it's done yet. However, I think the schedule now, where there doesn't seem to be any back-to-back games, that helps London. I mean, it helps every team. Louis, what are you going to say?
Well, I mean, London's got a 13-point differential so far this season, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
pretty bad.
And is that 13 point?
They're winning by.
Does that include the Glads blowout?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem.
So yeah. So it's clearly not been like London where it's 7-7-7 and they're blowing everyone out.
Yeah.
So that's like a sprinkle of sunshine.
We like a sprinkle today.
It's mostly overcast though. Mostly a lot of clouds, a lot of thick clouds. So I'm not too sure. I don't know. I mean, it's not looking good though. But hey ho.
The sorry state of British basketball. And Matt Hardy, talking about a sorry state of British basketball, in terms of you and the people trying to get their hands on any sort of merchandise in British basketball, tell the world, those who listen to this, your story of
The whole world.
Your what?
The whole world.
The whole world.
Everyone's
The
listening
whole
to
world.
this.
We'll clip this up. This could be in the story. Be real, whatever we use, whatever side. Clip this from now. Matt Hardy, tell the world about your most recent purchase. Might not be your most recent, but you know what I mean.
As you may or may not know, I've been out of the country. I've been back in the motherland. I've been in Italy, in a beautiful little village in the south of Italy.
I feel like I need to get music playing right now.
With and that village has a population of 4,000 people. I'm a bit weird. When I go somewhere, I quite like, as a souvenir, to bring back a local sports team shirt. Long story short, I got a a football shirt from this team, and I was buzzing. Really, really cool. Obviously, the only bloke in England to have one, really. So that's really cool. But it pulled me back into focus, and I would like everyone listening to this to get in touch with Oakland's basketball on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you want to be, and say that Matt and Louis want to give you money in exchange for a jersey, please. And what makes me sick
There's a finger point.
Right? What makes me really sick? Louis went there. Louis is an alumnus.
Louis still lives in St.
of that
Albans.
institution. Still lives in St. Albans. Don't even pay fucking delivery. We'll come pick it up.
Yeah.
But answer our DMs, you cowards. Answer our tweets. We want to take our money and give us the merch. Stop it and just be respectful. And if a tiny little second tier amateur step 10 Italian football team can do it, and we're the nicest people I've ever met in my life, you guys can do it too. Let's restore some hope in British basketball. Let's give the people what they want. Let us give you money at Oakland basketball. Thank you.
And to caveat that, there's still 5 teams you can't buy jerseys for in the SLB this season. So, with Christmas around the corner, SLB teams, men and women, let's get it sorted. Give the people their merch. Let's get jerseys. Imagine just seeing Sheffield, okay, new brand this season for them. Imagine a proper sea of yellow. Imagine. How cool would that be? Women, children,
Well,
everyone repping their teams. So, yeah. Anyway, Matt, tell us finally about your trip, because you've not mentioned it yet. How was the coffee?
Oh, yeah, obviously amazing. And now I brought a little espresso cup into my office at work, and I'm making myself little tiny coffees and eating pastries. So, yeah, I need to be stopped. But yeah, go to Italy. It's really nice.
I'd buy 10 tier football jerseys. Anyway, it's been another episode of SLB Show. Louis, thank you. Matt, welcome back. Always fun when you come back from a break. You always brighten our day. The world have been used to Louis and I the last couple of weeks. Matt's back. So yeah, the political swing of British basketball continues to move. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. We might try and get some guests on about that. Obviously, the League Player of the Month's about to come out. We'll probably hopefully try and reach out and get them if they're a friend of the show. And we're going to try as well at the international break, when there'll be no basketball for the men, to do something a bit different as well. So all that to look forward to. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We all look quite dapper tonight. Maybe not. It's the same as ever. So thank you. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back next week.